announcement. Channel Police Department!
Get on your knees.
I didn't do nothing.
Shut the f with that on your knees.
Step out.
For what?
Step out or I'm going to remove you out of the car. Hey, come on over here. Come on over here. Come on over here. Come on, come on. Get a rope.
Put your hands out the window. I cannot see.
Welcome to Audit Archive, where we run you through some of the most questionable and rather atrocious police encounters. Today, we're looking at several cases of police misconduct, including an incident where officers busted down a family's door and drew guns on them over a child's fever. Our first case of the day involves officers who busted down the door of a family's home and subsequently drew their guns at them. On February 25, 2019, in Chandler, Arizona, the mother of a 2-year-old boy refused to have her child show up to a doctor's appointment after being told to do so due to his fever. Concerned for his well-being, the doctor called DCS after Banner officials said the mother didn't show up, after which a DCS caseworker called the police asking for a welfare check. So, over a period of about 3 hours, officers attempted to make contact with the family. The following footage showcases what transpired, starting from the first attempt. Unable to get a response, the officer tried calling the residents instead.
At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hello, this is Officer Cassio with Chandler PD. I'm trying to get in contact with Brooks Bryce, just in regards to your son.
With no luck on that front either, he began calling the doctor, who asked for the welfare check.
So I have a question in regards to a patient you saw earlier today. His name is Bryce.
Yep.
He's a 2-year-old kid. Do you recall who that person is?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm trying to get in contact with the parents to try to see why the child hasn't gone to a hospital yet.
Right.
I just wanted to ask about what kind of medical problem he had today when he saw you.
Sure.
Can you just give me a rundown of what it was?
According to what the doctor gathered from the boy's 100-degree fever, she feared that a lethargic child with a fever and lacking vaccinations could have meningitis, which is an infection and inflammation of the fluid and membrane surrounding the brain and spinal cord. Upon hearing this, the officer went back to the house and made a second attempt at getting the family's attention.
Chandler PD! Sarah Brooks, we just need to talk.
With no answer yet again, the officer tried calling the house once more. Fortunately, this time the father of the family picked up.
Hello?
Hi, is this Brooks?
Yes, it is.
Hi, Brooks. This is Officer Cassio with Chandler PD. How you doing tonight?
Doing fine. Stop banging on my door and let my kids sleep.
Okay, so here's our problem. Basically, the reason why we're knocking on your door is because we need to check on your son, who...
Okay, he's doing fine. His fever's broke. He's under 100 degrees. He's doing just fine.
Okay, well, we need to see it for ourselves, and
No, you don't need to.
we need to talk to you outside. So why don't you come outside so we can talk about this?
No, thank you.
Expressing his desire to be left alone, Mr. Brooks ended the call. Unsatisfied, however, the officer went back a third time to confront him.
Brooks! I saw the hand. Like I said, here are your options. You either come out here and talk to us so we can figure out how we're going to get your kid to the hospital, or DCS is going to take temporary custody of your kids. I'm giving you the opportunity to come out here and just talk to me. So why don't we figure this out now instead of sit here, because we're not leaving.
No response yet again, and so he went back to his vehicle to talk to Mr. Brooks on the phone.
Hello?
Brooks,
Yes, sir.
do I need to repeat myself what I said outside the window?
I couldn't hear you through the window. I talked to you on the phone. That's
Okay.
what I did.
Alright, here's your first option. You come out and talk to us.
Do you have a warrant to take my kids?
We have DCS here that's going to take temporary custody of your kids if you don't come out and talk to us. You're making this way more worse than it needs to be.
No, my kids are fine.
Brooks,
You guys are
okay.
making it way worse than it is.
Okay, Brooks, if they're fine, then why don't you make this simple and come out and talk to us?
They're not going to force me to go to the hospital, spend $3,000 in an emergency room visit right now.
Well, here's the thing. All the doctors told you what was going on with your son, and they said that they strongly told you to go to the hospital and get him checked out because
His fever didn't break. His fever broke. We gave him a bath and his fever broke. He's doing fine.
Look, Brooks, I talked to the doctors already, and they said that this could be a possible life-threatening situation.
It is not a life-threatening situation.
Listen. I know you're saying that the fever broke now, and he's feeling better, but
Yeah, if he gets
okay.
worse, then we'll go to the hospital.
Well, no.
Doctor's recommendation.
Well, Brooks, we need you to come outside and talk to us.
No.
Like I said, if you don't come out and talk to us, and we have to deal with this, make this even worse than it needs to be, then those kids will be taken away, and you guys are going to be in some serious trouble. Because as of right now, you were told by the doctors that he needs to go to an emergency room. That was told to you guys, and we have all the information from all the doctors saying. Now, you knowing that makes it even worse for you guys because it could be a felony charge. But I would rather just have you come out and just let us deal with this, and let's go take the kid to the hospital.
So if I take my kid to the hospital right now, you guys will leave, and my wife can stay with my kids?
Yeah, if you come out and talk to us, both of you, we can go from there. And
What are my other two kids going to do? Both of our parents can't leave to the hospital.
well, no, I'm not saying you both leave at the hospital, but let's get your son who's sick to the hospital tonight.
All three of my kids are sick, dude.
Well, the one you took to the doctor is the one we're concerned about because he apparently is more sick than the others.
I don't care about my other two kids then.
You can bring your kids with you if you think they need it.
No, they don't. None of my kids need to go to the hospital. They're fine. None of them have fevers right now. They have the cough and the sniffles. They're not in life danger.
Yeah, that's not going to fly.
At this point, negotiations broke down, and the officer brought in backup from officers with the DCP, Department for Child Protection, in order to forcibly take the child.
Sarah, it's the Chandler Police Department with Department of Child Services. You need to come to the door, and you need to come now. We have a temporary custody notice that's been signed by a judge. Failure to comply with the court order could result in your door being kicked in. I have the order in my hand. You can come out and read it. We're not going away at this point. Sarah, this is the Chandler Police Department. We have a court order. You need to come to the door. I will give you a copy of the order so that you can read. We need to ensure the welfare of your child. If you refuse to comply with the court order, we will kick in your door. We will force entry into your house.
With no response, the officers began trying to force their way into the house. How they did so, however, was excessive to say the least.
Alright, announcement.
Chandler Police Department!
Thanks. Hold there, make more announcements.
Chandler Police Department, come out with your hands up! Chandler Police Department! We're not gonna leave until you come out with the child!
Now, an entire police squadron had shown up to the house, kicked open the door, and pointed their firearms at the family. It's important to note, however, that under a law that took effect in July of 2018, Arizona lawmakers designated limited circumstances for removing a child from their parent without a warrant. The DCS must have probable cause to believe a child is at imminent risk of harm, and there's no less intrusive alternative to removal. Or DCS must have probable cause to believe a child is a victim of sexual or physical abuse that can only be evaluated by trained medical personnel. Considering that, after the incident, the child was discovered not to have meningitis as the doctor initially stated, the officers and DCP did not have proper reason to break into the civilian's home. Therefore, by unlawfully barging into their house, the officers violated the family's fourth constitutional right, which states, "The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue, but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized."
Chandler Police Department, we will come in if you do not come out. This is the Chandler Police Department. We're here to check on the safety of your child. You need to come to the front door. Chandler Police Department. We have a court order from CPS to take temporary custody of your child. You need to come to the front door. We're here to provide medical attention for your child.
Brooks?
Keep your hands up.
Hands up. Let me see both your hands. Turn around. Face away from us. Come out slowly.
How many people consist of who? 3 kids and my wife. Where's your wife at? I'm not sure actually right now. I thought she was coming to the front door. There you go. What's her name? Sarah. Any weapons inside these cowbells? Yeah. What do you got? I've got a bunch of guns, man. They're all locked up. Does Sarah have access to the safe? No. Where's the child right now? They're with the sick guy. I'm not sure. I was sleeping with my 2 daughters in my master bedroom. Sarah, come out to the front door. The Chandler Police Department. Come out to the front door. Keep your hands up so we can see them.
Okay. Come to us. Come out slowly. Come out to us. Come on. Okay. Come over here.
Is that the child in question?
Okay, why not speak to this?
Where's my husband?
He's right here.
After the incident, police records that were later released recommend 1 count of child abuse domestic violence for the mother and the father each, who failed to obtain further medical treatment for their 2-year-old son after being directed to do so by a doctor, and after the doctor expressed concerns that the boy could be infected with meningitis. It also states that the mother further refused attempts by police officers and the Department of Child Safety to check on the child's welfare. However, a lawmaker, Kelly Townsend, who helped craft a law requiring the Arizona Department of Child Safety to obtain a warrant before removing children from their parents, called on the DCS and police to admit their failure in the handling of the child welfare case, stating that this was a complete miscarriage of justice and a shame to the state of Arizona. In the end, neither of the parents were arrested, and after being in 3 separate foster care placements for about 2 weeks, the children were allowed to stay with their grandparents, with the parents being allowed to see their kids at the grandparents' home. Moreover, the father said that he and his wife followed all of DCS's recommendations, including full psychological evaluations, despite having no history of mental health issues. As of the date of this recording, no further information has been made available regarding their situation. Next up, we have a case where an officer threatened and detained an innocent store employee at gunpoint, which was later classified as racially motivated misconduct. On August 30th, 2020, in Tempe, Arizona, a call was made to the Tempe Police Department's non-emergency line, requesting that 2 individuals thought to be engaging in illegal activity be removed from the premises of the Hawthorne Suites. Officer Ronald Kurzaya responded to the call and asked the general manager who made the call if the suspect was black or white. The manager, Sean Hoover, told the officer he could show him surveillance video of the armed man, but Officer Kurzaya declined to watch the footage and began searching the premises. The following footage showcases what happened.
Hey, sir, how we doing?
We got to hold on to your issue. Some guy just pulled a gun out on us.
41. I've got a 417 George here. I'm going to need some additional units. Manager's advising this male subject here just pulled a firearm on him. What room number and what's the description? What info do you have on this individual? Where is he now? What is it? Which room number? White male, black male, what do we got? Is he a white male, a black male? Come on. White male, he's going to be wearing a black shirt, tan pants.
He's going to be coming down the staircase and exit out that door right there.
10-4. He's probably going to be poking out on the west exit. He's walking out now. Get inside now. Get the out. 41, I'm going to hold on that exit. Responding units, if you're coming up Price, I want you to come in that entrance and hold. Put your hands up! One at gunpoint. Step out!
I work here.
You work here?
I was kicking the door closed, man.
Okay, turn around.
I work here.
That's fine.
Come on, man, you don't gotta
Step
put no
this way.
gun at me. I got
Hey,
my
listen to me! Listen, okay?
I got my hands
I am responding to somebody with a firearm who matches your description. You understand that? Come here.
I got my hands up, man.
Stand
Take
back.
the gun off. For real, I got my hands up.
Where's your ID at? No, you don't get to tell me what to do. Where's your ID at?
Take the gun off me, man.
No.
Where your supervisor at? You gonna shoot me? I'm
No.
gonna be another person on the news?
Get on your knees.
I didn't do nothing
Shut
to
the
you.
with that on your knees.
Despite the man, 28-year-old Trevanye Kumpion, stating that he was an employee and showing compliance, the officer continued to terrorize him. While one may argue that he was being cautious due to the suspect allegedly being armed, Officer Kurzaya's attitude in this situation must be called into question. According to the U.S. Department of Justice's de-escalation policy, officers will be trained in de-escalation tactics and techniques designed to gain voluntary compliance from subject before using force, and such tactics and techniques should be employed if objectively feasible and they would not increase the danger to the officer or others. When feasible, reducing the need for force allows officers to secure their own safety as well as the safety of the public. However, by swearing and acting aggressively, the officer could have agitated his supposed suspect, which could have led to a much worse situation. Therefore, he violated this national policy.
I didn't do nothing to you. Remember this, I need your badge number and your name.
You'll get everything you need.
Yeah,
Put everything on the ground.
I didn't do nothing to you. I got my hands up and I work here. Go call the manager.
41, where are my other units at? Just hang tight, okay?
But this ain't, I work here. All you gotta do is call the manager and take the gun
Who's your
off.
manager? Stop telling me what to do.
Sean Hoover, take
Okay,
the gun
what is
off
your
me.
name?
Trey.
41, can we get somebody to get the complainant on the line and find out if there's an employee here by the name of Trey?
got to hold no gun. My hands are up. I'm not a threat to you.
Are you a cop?
I'm not a threat to you.
Are you a cop?
I'm not a threat to you.
You don't tell me what a threat to me is. You don't know.
Just because you're a cop don't mean you can hold a gun at somebody whenever you get good and damn ready. I put my hands up and I'm not...
When I'm responding to somebody with a firearm, I can do what I need to stay safe and go home to my family. Do you understand that?
My hands are up.
I have somebody on the phone right now with Sean trying to confirm if you're an employee or not. As soon as I verify that, you can go and then you can get whatever information you need. Do you understand that?
While that may be the case, it's important to note that there was a very easy way to avoid this. As previously mentioned, the hotel manager said that he could show the officer surveillance footage of the armed suspect. However, Officer Kurzaya refused to view it. By doing so, he was liable for obstructing justice, which is a very serious crime because it interferes with the legal proceedings of pursuing justice for another crime. Obstruction of justice can occur at both the federal and state levels and can be classified as either a felony or a misdemeanor and is punishable by fines and jail time. This is because by failing to view crucial evidence that would identify the killer, he wrongfully detained an innocent man. Despite this, the officer continued to point his firearm at the victim, believing that he was in the right.
It's crazy, huh? Hey, can you record this? He steadily got his gun on me and I got my hands up.
I'm recording too.
And I got my hands up. I know I work here, but he steadily got his gun.
That's fine, just stay back.
Hey, record this, man. For real. I got my hands up on the ground, he still got a gun pointed on me. And my knees hurt, man.
41, did we get Sean on the line yet?
Anybody come out?
Did he verify that somebody by the name of Trey works here?
I'm just dressed like this for no reason?
Get out of here, Trey.
Yeah, thank you.
You can stand by in the lobby. If you need all my information, I'll be more than happy to give it to you. Have a great afternoon. Hey, if we have Sean on the line, can you give me any more intel on if this guy exited yet or not? No, ma'am. My suspect. I exited the building to stand on the door, and Sean was watching him on video. Copy, thank you.
Fortunately, the hotel manager came through and vouched for Mr. Cumpion's innocence, thus resulting in his freedom. Things didn't end here, however, for as Officer Kurzaya was talking to his department, another person arrived on the scene.
I'll come to the lobby and meet up with Hoover, and then I need... Stop right there. I've got another one at gunpoint. Get your out of here now! I've got one fleeing back inside. Hispanic or white male, approximately 30 years old, black bandana, white t-shirt, gray shorts. Stop right there.
Me?
Where did he go? Where the did he go?
I ain't got nothing to do with that, man.
Where is he?
That ain't got nothing to do with me.
No shit.
So why is you talking to me like that?
God damn. Get the out of the way.
I'm not
go.
in the way. I can't
go.
You
now. I'm just inside the west entrance. I don't know where the hell he went. He's good. Get him out. Where did he go, Sean? Jesus Christ. The guy with the gun. Where the hell did he go?
He walked outside.
Jesus Christ. Get off the air. 41. Sean just told me that he went back inside. He may have popped out the main entrance. Just stay back. Hey, which way did he go?
I told you. And why do you have my employee a black male at gunpoint? He's clearly not white.
Once again, by failing to view the evidence and listen to the manager's description, the officer continued to falsely accuse random civilians of being acquainted with the armed suspect. This was exceptionally dangerous, since for every minute that the officer continued to make mistakes, the true culprit continued to slip away.
41. Somebody else go talk to Sean. He doesn't know. The manager is explaining that he may have fled out the east entrance now, but he doesn't know. I was unable to acquire that information from the manager.
In the end, the armed suspect was never found. Moreover, after the incident, Mr. Kumpion filed a $2.5 million claim against the city of Tempe. In addition to seeking $2.5 million for emotional trauma and lifetime therapy, the claim called for Officer Kurzaya to be fired from the department. The officer was eventually placed on administrative leave following the incident, pending an ongoing internal investigation. Unfortunately, since that investigation is still pending, no further information has been made available. Moving on, we have a case where officers brutally assaulted and tased an innocent couple who were making a withdrawal at a local bank. On June 13, 2020, in Lexington, Kentucky, 19-year-old Elena Amirani Perez and 18-year-old Preston Gage Sloan went to a Richmond Road bank to cash a U.S. savings bond that Mr. Sloan had been given for his high school graduation. At the same time, however, a Chase Bank employee contacted police to report that a man had been trying to cash fraudulent bonds at multiple bank locations that day. About 15 minutes later, police said they received information that a white male was attempting to redeem several $1,000s in savings bonds at the Chase Bank on Richmond Road. The police, unjustly believing that these two were the culprits, began to detain the couple. The following footage showcases what transpired.
You're approaching my car for no reason.
That is fine. I am here for a reason.
What? I don't know what the
Be
you're
with
doing.
you? I'm sure you don't. They're together. Step out.
For what?
Step out, or I'm gonna remove you out of the car.
What the fuck? No. You're
Step
not.
out.
Why am
You're
I
gonna
stepping
step
out of the
out
car?
and sit
For
out of the car.
what? For what?
Because you were detained.
I'm detained for
Listen.
what? No,
You're being
cannot.
detained on a fraud investigation. Just step out.
Fraud.
You gonna step out, or you gonna make me
Step
take
out
you
and
out?
cooperate. Ma'am, step out and cooperate.
They don't even know who I am.
Get out of the car, ma'am.
Get out.
Get out of the car. You're resisting
out.
arrest. Now get out of the car.
On the ground.
Get
On the ground.
Put your hands behind you.
You can't.
Ma'am, stop resisting
Stop
us.
They
resisting.
don't even know who I am.
Stop resisting.
Without any form of proof or evidence, the officer accused Miss Perez of being a scammer, opened her car door, and then pulled her out by her hair. No doubt, such an action violated her fourth constitutional right, since the Fourth Amendment prohibits the United States government from conducting unreasonable searches and seizures. In general, this means police cannot search a person or their property without a warrant or probable cause. It also applies to arrests and the collection of evidence.
We asked you 5 times to get out of the car.
You didn't ask me who I was. They don't even know who I am.
After confirming the details of the situation, they found out that there was only one suspect in the scamming case and were therefore ordered to release Miss Perez, further highlighting her wrongful arrest.
Is he going? Do we know?
At this point, no. She's going.
Okay.
Because he's dick ass. That's why. No, not because of his dick ass. He kept telling me all this shit, but not explaining anything to me. Like, what sense does that make? Because he's an asshole.
Has she been rowdy?
Have I been rowdy? He wouldn't explain anything to me.
Yeah, well, when you're doing illegal stuff, you just do what you're
What
told.
was illegal? Nothing was illegal. What's illegal about cashing bonds?
Oh, you mean,
Cashing bonds, how is that illegal?
well, if they're illegal bonds or you're doing it illegally, it's illegal.
How, okay, can you explain to me how he was doing it was illegal?
Well, we're not getting into that right now. When you're on the street, we don't have time to put in that stuff. You just listen to the officer, and things go a lot easier.
Okay, but
We
it's
can sort it
hard.
out after the fact.
It's hard to listen to somebody when they're trying to get in your car and not explaining to you for what.
Well, all you gotta do is comply, and everything goes nice and easy.
Okay, but
And if you're not doing anything wrong, then you just have a story to tell your friends and family.
not doing it. Okay, I do because I literally not explaining anything to me.
Well,
You wouldn't even take the time to.
I'll tell you this. Usually, we do have time to explain things, not under all circumstances. And this is one of those circumstances. You just have to listen and do what you're told.
But you don't. I just don't understand how me not wanting to get out because he wasn't explaining something.
It doesn't matter. He doesn't have to explain it. You just have to listen to him and do what he says. It's called compliance. So,
Didn't ask for any identification.
have you Mirandized her?
I need Miranda.
Okay. Do you have anything on you hidden that I need to know about?
No.
Because if you go to jail...
For what happened, for someone not explaining to them.
So,
Never in my life have I ever.
do you want to, so a detective's going to be talking to you. Do you want to tell me what's going on? Because here's the thing, like, there's an officer that's dealing with all these reports, okay, involving a bunch of fraud. He's going to come over here and talk to you as well, detective. But if you just want to tell me, go ahead and start off. Look, I'm being cordial with you, you be cordial with me. Just tell me, what are y'all doing?
A few seconds later, the officers turned their attention to Mr. Sloan, who was making a phone call after he was forced to sit by the sidewalk.
Hey, who are you talking to right now? They're not coming here. They can wait across the street if they want. Hey. Hey, what the fuck wrong?
Hey, put your hands behind your back.
Although one officer was visibly pulling Mr. Sloan up by the arm, the other saw his movement as an attempt to flee and thus begun using bodily force to detain him. Considering this, it's evident that Mr. Sloan was not trying to resist in any way and that the officers were in direct violation of their department's use of force policy, which states, officers shall use only that amount of force that is objectively reasonable under the totality of the circumstances known to the officer at the time the force is used. Force may appear necessary at the time the force is used, given the facts and circumstances perceived by the officer at the time of the event, to accomplish a legitimate law enforcement purpose.
I'm gonna tase you right here. Stop resisting. You hear me? Put your fucking hands behind your back. I'm gonna tase you. Please stop. Put your hand behind your back. I'm gonna tase you.
There's a no knee on. I can't breathe. Put your hand.
If you're talking, you're breathing. Put your arm behind your back.
Things began to take a dark turn. As the officers placed their body weight and cuffs on the victim, he began yelling out that he couldn't breathe. Instead of backing off, however, one of the officers said that because Mr. Sloan was talking, he was capable of breathing. According to a paramedic who posted on the Calibre Press, however, a major misconception is, if he can say that he can't breathe, he can speak. And if he can speak, then he has to be breathing. This is both true and horribly wrong. This is perhaps one of the most lethal misconceptions in both EMS and law enforcement. To explain their reasoning briefly, speaking only requires a small amount of air movement, unlike breathing, which involves taking in enough air to exchange gases in the lungs. Thus, a person may be able to speak even if their breathing is insufficient to meet their body's oxygen needs. By failing to recognize this, the officer was placing the victim in great danger and the risk of death. This was, unsurprisingly, unlawful as they violated the SCRJ model policy, which states that chokeholds are defined as lethal hands-on maneuvers that may cut off the supply of blood and oxygen to the brain, and include under this definition strangleholds, neck restraints, and carotid restraints. Any and all chokeholds are prohibited under the policy. In the chokeholds chapter, the model policy also outlines directives and prohibitions on breathing impairments. Breathing impairments include strikes to the neck and positional asphyxia.
You're gonna get tased.
I tried to call your mother and they tackled me.
There, grab my yellow.
I'll try that again.
There. Throw them over.
342.
Yeah, I agree, it was.
I think you need another unit.
Is that yours?
No, you don't. Not under these
I actually gave you the courtesy to use your phone until you pushed me away. I told them they had to wait across the street, okay?
Okay, I didn't even. They're not even coming here. They're coming over there.
Then you pushed me away.
No, I mean
You told them to come to Chase Bank.
Okay,
and I was trying to correct you.
Touch me though, do you? Are you like?
Because you weren't listening to me.
Are you physically allowed to touch me?
Yes.
Why?
Because when I was talking to you, you were.
After the incident, both teens were treated for head injuries. Meanwhile, Kentucky State Police Sergeant Joshua Lawson said in an email that the state police were reviewing available information and will be investigating KSP's involvement. No further information is available at this time. As of the date of this recording, that still appears to be the case. Next up, we have a case where 3 officers were responsible for the manslaughter of an innocent elderly schizophrenic who was walking on the road. In July 2017, in Washington County, Utah, Deputy Michael Howe encountered 58-year-old Yuri Lee Martin after the resident of a home had refused to give the old man water and later placed a call with dispatchers saying, "I got a guy walking off the side of the road here, just walked in my yard. I don't know whether he was crazy, drunk, or what." When informed of this, Officer Howell began tracking Mr. Martin down, along with deputies Henry Lee Copeland and Rhett Scott. What they failed to inform themselves of, however, was Mr. Martin being a reported schizophrenic. After a few minutes of driving around, they found him walking around aimlessly.
Hey, come on over here. Come on over here. Come on over here. Come on. Get out of the road. Get out of the road. Get out of the road. Get out of the road, man. Come on. Get out of the road. Come on. Come on. Come on.
Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. Put them behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. You're going to be tased. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. No. Hey, no. Get on the ground. Hell no. Get down. Roll over. Roll over. You going to comply? Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands back.
Despite it being obvious that Mr. Martin was incapable of understanding orders, the officers apprehended him and tased the victim numerous times. According to the ACLU's taser policy, the taser is a use of force and is to be used only when necessary to overcome resistance while effecting an arrest, preventing an escape, in self-defense, or defense of another person from physical harm, and in accordance with this department's use of force policy. It also states that the use of the taser should generally be avoided in specific situations unless the totality of the circumstances indicates that other available options reasonably appear ineffective, impractical, or would present a greater danger to the officer, the subject, or others. One such situation is when the target is an elderly individual. By arresting and subsequently tasing someone without probable cause, the officers were liable for violating this policy along with infringing upon the victim's fourth constitutional right, since the Fourth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution provides that the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. The ultimate goal of this provision is to protect people's right to privacy and freedom from unreasonable intrusions by the government.
What the heck going on, bro? What the heck going on, bro? What the heck going on? What the heck going on? Get out of the way. What the heck going on? 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 No ground. What's going on? What the heck going on?
Thankfully, the damage done to the victim was minimal enough that he was able to remove the probes, get up, and start walking away, albeit still unaware of his surroundings.
Do it without crying.
Get him again. I gotta get him the Bible. You want to get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground.
Once again, an officer tased the victim, this time, however, without warning. Obviously, this was yet another violation of the ACLU's taser policy, which states, a verbal warning of the intended use of the taser should precede its application, unless it would otherwise endanger the safety of officers or when it is not practical due to the circumstances. The purpose of the warning is to provide the individual with a reasonable opportunity to voluntarily comply and to provide other officers and individuals with a warning that a taser may be deployed. If, after a verbal warning, an individual is unwilling to voluntarily comply with an officer's lawful orders, and it appears both reasonable and practical under the circumstances, the officer may, but is not required to, display the electrical arc or the laser in a further attempt to gain compliance prior to the application of the taser. The aiming laser should never be intentionally directed into the eyes of another, as it may permanently impair their vision. The fact that a verbal or other warning was given or the reasons it was not given shall be documented by the officer deploying the taser. Despite this, the officer continued to tase the victim, which ultimately led to him falling unconscious.
Want some?
Me too.
Damn, that was an idiot. Man, I was just saying, damn, maybe they'll be coming along peaceful, huh? Shit.
Oh, he's out of that strain, man.
He's on, he's gotta be on something. Acting like he would.
Any towels in there?
I wish. Somebody ask him that. I should with you.
If Joel will call, let him know what's going on. I don't even know who he is.
Yeah, I know.
Mr. Harris.
I don't even know.
But there's one called.
Harris who?
Harris, the guy that lives there. You pass Sinai Church Road on the left.
You got all his information.
It's on the cab. I can't think of his first name. I think it's Cyrus Harris or something other. Yeah, he lives in there. Y'all just passed Sinai Church on the left. That's going to be the complaint.
For around 7 minutes, the officers continued to stand around and do nothing to help the victim. They tased 15 times within a mere 4 minutes. By failing to register aid to Mr. Martin, the officers violated a policy of the United Nations Human Rights Office, which states, law enforcement officials shall ensure the full protection of the health of persons in their custody, and in particular, shall take immediate action to secure medical attention whenever required. It was only after a few more minutes that they realized the victim wasn't breathing and needed medical attention immediately.
Chest pressure, whatever.
This afternoon, me and my sister come from Millersville and run off in the woods and come back after this. This is that same thing.
Yeah.
As we come from this way.
Started chest compression. 5 VMS.
Unfortunately, it was too late, as Mr. Martin later succumbed to his injuries and died. When the incident went under investigation, the officer stated that the victim had physically threatened them after already illegally walking in the roadway. After viewing the footage, however, their claims were dismissed. As a result of their actions, the officers were indicted for felony murder, involuntary manslaughter, false imprisonment, aggravated assault, and reckless conduct. Finally, our last case of the day involves an officer escalating the situation at a traffic stop and pointing a firearm at the driver who had a child in the back seat. On October 12, 2020, in Euclid, Ohio, an officer pulled over a driver who was going 20 miles per hour over the speed limit. However, because she did not realize she was being pulled over, she took off again after slowing down. The officer eventually caught up to her, but what he did next was harrowing.
Windows. Turn the car off and put the keys up on the roof. car off and put the keys on the roof. Do it now. I cannot hear you. Turn the car off, put the keys on the roof. Put the keys on the ground. You're going to need to turn the car off. I can't hear you. Put your hands out the window. Put the hands out the window. Put your hands out the window. Put your hands out the window.
Out of nowhere, the officer proceeded to draw his firearm and point it towards the driver. According to the U.S. Department of Justice, law enforcement officers and correctional officers may use deadly force only when necessary. That is, when the officer has a reasonable belief that the subject of such force poses an imminent danger of death or serious physical injury to the officer or another person. It's also important to note that 1. Deadly force may not be used solely to prevent the escape of a fleeing suspect. 2. If feasible and if doing so would not increase the danger to the officer or others, a verbal warning to submit to the authority of the officer shall be given prior to the use of deadly force. 3. Officers will be trained in alternative methods and tactics for handling resisting subjects, which must be used when the use of deadly force is not authorized by this policy. 4. Deadly force should not be used against persons whose actions are a threat solely to themselves or property unless an individual poses an imminent danger of death or serious physical injury to the officer or others in close proximity. Since none of those conditions applied in this situation, the officer was not allowed to use his firearm.
What? I cannot hear you. You need to put your hands out the window. Put your hands out the window. Put your hands out the window. I cannot see them. That's not out the window. Put them up there so I can see them. I'm not telling you from here. Keep them right there. You get your hands out the window, I'll come talk to you. Okay, keep them right there. Who else is in the car? Oh, because...
37, where are you?
Get them outside the window.
Good. You go 70. Hammer.
Put the keys on the roof. You already left once. Put your keys up. Put your keys up on the roof. Put your keys up on the roof. Yeah, because I'm going to wait for somebody to get here, since you're not explaining. All right. She's barking. Supposedly there's two in the car. I might have her come out to you? Yeah. All right. All right, miss. With your hands out, open the door with your left hand. Because I'm telling you to. Compliance with the lawful order. Step out of the car.
SNE 262.
Sorry, talk to me.
With your back to us. That's right.
Just come here. Come over here with me. It's fine. Just keep your hands.
Keep your hands where we can see them.
Keep your hands up and come on back.
And come on back.
Okay, come on back.
We will get to that.
Come here. Come on back and talk to us.
Because we're telling you to.
Come on. Is there anybody? Ma'am.
Come step back here.
Because he's asking you to.
For what? I'm just telling you, I don't.
We don't know that.
Okay, come on. I don't know. We don't know what you have. All I know is please come back. Okay.
Then come on back here.
Car with you. Is there anybody else in the car with you? Is there anybody else in the car with you?
78 out with the other vehicle.
Yeah, she's got somebody else.
Who else? Tell me. I just showed up.
Nobody's in the car. It's me and my daughter. I don't know what he's doing.
That's two people.
I don't know nothing. Like,
all right, don't get upset. Come on back.
But I'm upset. He's so like, put that fucking gun.
Well, if you did you take when you kept on speeding away from him?
No, I just told him I had a emergency. I don't know what he put me on.
Well, that's what happens.
Radio, can you have Richmond Heights in the car too, please?
You're going to get more trouble than it is. Please come back.
There's no confusion. Come back here.
Just come on back here. Thank you. Come back here to me.
Hands away from the waist.
Come back to me.
What do you mean hands away from what you
Come on back to me. Come on. Come on back here.
Keep coming.
What do I need to keep walking for?
Keep coming.
I'm asking you nicely, please walk to me. We don't want this to get any...
We'll explain it all to you.
I have an emergency. I'm trying to get home. If you're going to take me, whatever you put me over, can you do it?
Please come back here. Please come back.
The sooner we don't reach in your pockets.
Please come back here.
Do not reach in your pockets.
I'm not understanding what you even put me over for.
How can we get to that point?
But I'm confused. Okay, I'm standing right here. Like, how can it blood? What? Am I being arrested? Because I'm not even sure what's going on here. If a whole officer just walks up, immediately pulls out a gun on you, how are you going to feel? Yeah. I don't know what I'm getting put up for. I don't know anything.
Come on back and talk to us.
How old's your daughter?
Come here.
She's young. How can I help you?
How old is your daughter?
She's young. I'm not understanding how that's relevant. I'm not understanding how.
Do you have any weapons on?
I told you back when you put the gun on and have a weapon on me. Like, what do you mean?
Stop.
Put your hands on top of your head so I can pat you down real quick. All right. On top of your head. On top. Thank you.
On top of your head.
That's just your phone and that's it? Do you have your ID on you?
My ID in the car.
How old's your daughter?
I don't understand how that's relevant. She's a child. Yes.
Because we can't. Because we can't see in that car.
I can't see.
I have no. There could be 20 people in that car for all I know. Go. Does the car come back to you?
Yes. Y'all can open the car. Y'all can go through it. There's nothing in there. Everything is valid. I don't. Again, know why I'm getting put over. I didn't even know you were pulling me over. I'm thinking I'm in your way or something. Like, every time, I don't understand. What do I do against police? Like, what the do I do against police?
This is not how we start conversations.
I don't care. You started a conversation with a gun put out on me, so I don't understand. Like, what the
I'm not even going to try to explain it to you.
Like, what is that protocol? Like...
Okay, let's go get your ID.
Y'all want to look it up by my social?
I want to see the ID. If you want me to look up your social,
then... You just told me to stay away from my car and all that. I don't know.
That's right. And now I'm asking you to go back to it.
I just told you I had a whole...
Yeah. Only me.
62907, you can disregard to.
There you go. I don't have no weapons, no nothing.
You can have a seat back in the car now if you want. Is that your current address in Cleveland? Is that your current address in Cleveland?
No.
What's your current address?
7 Georgetown Square.
7 Georgetown? Is that Euclid?
Yes.
What's the zip?
44143.
Okay, the reason I stopped you, you're doing 55 miles an hour on Monticello.
I was trying to surpass the car, thinking I'm passing.
You were doing 55 miles an hour on Monticello.
How was I going 55 miles an hour when I don't even care? Okay.
Okay, I'll be right back. So, yeah, the policeman was in front of her on Trubisky. So, probably 20 minutes ago, because you know you don't see many of these.
Right.
I was going eastbound on Monticello. I got no radar. She was hauling balls, going westbound. So I was like, man, I wish I could get that.
Right.
So I'm sitting at Crestview. Here she comes, 55. Well, a cop that lives here somewhere, I don't know what, it's a black SUV with a blue, like Blue Lives Matter, like, you know, down the whole side, I don't know what unit, what city. He was in front of her. Good minute. Well, she ends up getting stuck behind him on Trubisky.
Okay.
He pulled into a drive on here. So by the time I caught her, she stopped at Hillary, right in the middle of the intersection. I go to get out of my car, she just starts going.
Okay.
So we're how far from Hillary?
Right.
I mean, and I've got the lights and sirens. I'm telling you, we're going 27 miles an hour. She knows damn well I'm behind her.
Yep.
And she's yet to mention what the family emergency is.
Well, yeah, I don't know what that is. Plus her daughter's at 6 in the back seat. I wouldn't even see.
Not even in a seat?
No, she is. Well, why would you do that to your daughter?
Radio 7262.
Right.
It's taking off like that. And then not obeying what you're supposed to be obeying.
The resident's calling in right now. They belong
And I'm talking to her on the PA,
if it's going to be a Boston.
but I can't understand what she's yelling back at me. She won't put the keys out. She won't roll down the windows.
The 2 Australians in a Boston.
So I'm just waiting for you guys, that's all.
Yes. They're at 3630. They're going to step outside.
Yeah, the license is expired. Except it's during the pandemic, so I'm assuming I can't cite her for that. Because it expired in May. I mean, if it was a year before, I would have, obviously.
The reason for this is that during the pandemic, multiple states issued new laws regarding the expiration of driver's licenses, since people weren't allowed to go out and renew them. For Ohio specifically, driver's licenses expiring from March 9, 2020 through the end of the state of emergency will remain valid until 90 days after the declared emergency ends, or December 1, 2020, whichever comes first. Therefore, there was no penalty or fine for the woman for having an expired driver's license, at least during the pandemic.
So we're a half mile from Hillary. Oh, half mile.
Yeah, she stopped in the middle of the intersection, no problem. Let me call out the call. Then as soon as I go to open the door, she leaves.
Did that car come back to her?
Yep. She said it did, and it does.
The tint on the rear windows is something. Yeah, you can't see it.
That guy almost hit me. That car almost hit me. That blue car almost took my mirror off. All right, Miss Bush, here's your license. Citation for the 55. You have to call the court for court date.
Donation for the Humane Society.
In the end, the woman was eventually issued a citation and allowed to leave. Be sure to check out our previous video where we cover another outrageous police encounter.